Okay, we're going to continue with the Rainy Buttes. In this video, remember that rock that I put in the pile, or back in the box, I mean? I'm going to reduce some of this with natural tools. Okay? Every time I upload a new video, I get, usually one person who wants to see natural material flint knapping. If that's what you want, go to my Allergic Hobbit channel, or you look for Jack Crafty Abo tools, or Jack Crafty Abo, ABO, as a channel search, and you'll be able to see me using natural materials on this channel. Okay? But if you want exclusively natural materials, go to my Allergic Hobbit channel. There's not as many videos on there, but it's all natural materials. Okay. So, first things first, let's see. I guess I can use, I'm going to use a hammerstone first. Let's see. I always get a question also, what's the best tool to use? What's the best natural material to use on these stones? The answer to that always is the one you have the most skill at. It's not the material, it's your skill. Okay? So let me knock off some flakes with the hammerstone. This is a medium to hard. Let's see. This one is a soft. This is a piece of sandstone. And you do need to know the grits. You do need to know that some hammerstones are harder than others. It's not consistent like aluminum. Like if I were to use aluminum, you can just go and buy, I think, 1061 aluminum, and you're going to have the exact same thing that I do. If you insist on using natural materials and you think that you're going to have something exactly like what I'm using, you're not going to do it. I guarantee that if you pick up a stone that looks like this, it's not going to be the same as the stone that I have. So keep that in mind. All right. Now, can I make that flake with another tool? Sure. Was it easy? Yeah. Is it going to be easy with another tool? Yep. This is a piece of wood. Okay, I have not used this at all. So I'm just going to go into this rusty, okay, and see if I can knock off a flake with a piece of wood. This is live oak, I believe. It should be live oak. It doesn't really feel that heavy, but I think it's live oak. Okay. It's curved, right? Thin. Does it have an extremely pronounced lip? Not really. Does it have a telltale signature to it? Maybe. It's not going to have very many marks on the platform. Was it difficult? Yeah, I had to hit that several times because you can't develop a lot of energy with wood unless you have a lot of speed. All right, let's try something else. This is moose antler with part of the skull attached. Nice flake, kind of shallow. Let's try for a fatter one. Okay, much fatter. Can I do that with another tool? Yep, sure can. Let's see, how about this piece of wood? This is Texas ebony. So this is live oak from Texas, and this is Texas ebony. I guarantee you, if you get a piece of live oak that looks like this, it's not going to be the same as mine. And if you get a piece of Texas ebony that looks like this, it's not going to be the same as mine. Okay, so keep that in mind. All these natural materials are different. Because they're natural materials. Okay. And if you get a piece of Rainy Buttes like this, it looks like this, it's not going to be the same as mine. Okay? Now, I'm having a hard time finding a good platform because it's starting to get smaller, but I think I'll be able to get a nice strike here. Thin flake. Let's try for a fatter flake. Now I'm swinging this so I can get some speed on it. So that was a lot of speed, and I still only got a thin flake. Let's try again to try to get a thicker flake. Yeah, still. And see, I got crushing with a piece of wood. Right, very similar to other materials like stone and bone. It's getting kind of small. I can feel the shock, so I'm gonna get another piece. See if I can knock off a long flake with this piece of wood. Yeah, these are shallow flakes. Okay, so is that pretty typical of wood? Well, it is if you don't have a lot of weight. If I had a thicker piece of wood, thicker around and maybe longer, I can produce fatter flakes. Still wood, right? The reason why I'm getting thinner flakes is because it's a lightweight piece of wood. I can get thicker flakes and longer with a larger piece of wood. It's still wood though, right? So just because it's wood does not mean thin flakes. It depends on the properties of the wood and the tool itself. Okay. So yeah, with a lightweight piece of wood, you're going to get lightweight flakes. Okay, so I'm pretty much at my upper limit of how hard I can strike with this piece of wood. Let's see. I'm going to try with the antler to show you the difference that something heavier is going to do. So heavier material, still swinging it to get speed up. As you can see the difference. There's a deposit of bone onto the material. That happens a lot with bone since it's kind of crumbly. Wood will absorb shock, right? It's not crumbly, but it does dimple. The flakes that you get are going to depend on the skill level that you have. Of course, the properties of the material or the tool, it does influence the type of flakes that you can remove. But all you got to do is adjust the size or shape of the material, and you can adjust the size and shape of the flakes. Now those completely shattered. I got little bitty pieces. Let's see. If I want to reduce this, if I want to reduce this, I need to use something heavy, so I don't have to put so much speed into the strikes, and something hard so it'll initiate easily. So I would use a hard hammerstone. That's mainly what I use, is hard hammerstones for reduction. Even though it might be a softer material like this or obsidian, I still use a hard hammerstone for most of my reduction, because I do like to preserve the tool. You can see that dimple right there is probably just from these hits that I just did, right? If I were to hit 100 times or 200 times, I would have many more dimples on this, and it would soon wear away. Okay. And this is expensive. A moose antler with a bone attached, with skull attached, is very expensive. Okay. Not much effort into removing that piece. Now, to be advantageous, and if it was my stuff, I wouldn't waste my time with the natural materials, because I know I can get longer, better flakes with a more consistent material like aluminum or a copper hammer. Right? With this is nice to hold in your hand, but to get consistently longer flakes with more control of the tool, use something like a hammer with a handle on it. It's made for precision strikes. Stone is not made for a precision strike. You have to adjust to heating with a stone. Like what, it's like having a piece of copper of this shape. Why would you use a piece of copper of this shape to strike when you can use a hammer? Right? That sort of thing. And why would I use natural material on this if I could get better flakes with a metal tool? Okay, if you want to do it like they did it back in the day, just keep in mind that you may end up wasting more than you normally would if you were to just use a more consistent, easier to handle material for your tool. Okay. The reason why I'm going through all this is just to show a concept that I've figured out over time. Okay? And I wrote it down before I did the video. And that is, with skill, you can make any tool look like the best tool for flint knapping, or the best tool for a particular stage or technology during the reduction process. Okay? Keep that in mind. You can make any tool look like the best tool with skill. So be a little wary of someone who says that some certain material is best or not the best. Okay. It depends on your skill. Okay. Let's see. I'll try to reduce a little bit more on this with the hammerstone. Yeah, with follow through, it produces long flakes. They may not stay together. Inconsistencies in the stone will make a difference. If you got a piece of Rainy Buttes that looks like this, it's not going to nap in the same way that mine is napping, because there's differences in the stone itself. There's blemishes, internal issues, cracks, and Differences in consistency. Okay. I did that so I can get rid of some of this Cortex, so I can see what's underneath. I could hit this way also. There's some, see those, there's a crack there. I could hit here and drive some longer flakes, but I'm not going to mess with this too much. I just wanted to demonstrate some natural material direct percussion for those who wanted to see it. Okay. Now let's see. I'm gonna make a point out of one of these with natural tools. Okay. I'm gonna pick a hard one. So let's see. Pick a difficult piece. Let's see. Well, some of you might think this is the difficult piece, right? So let's do that. Yeah, there's a crystal pocket in there. Now, is this more difficult to use than the metal tools? Yes. I'm having to creep up on these strikes. I'm missing on purpose sometimes. Sometimes I'm not, but most of the time I'm missing on purpose to get the start getting the feel of the tool. Now, many of you have not seen a billet used in this way with a pointed tip. Okay, that's just the way I like to use it because it concentrates the force in a small area. If I were to use it this way, I could end up hitting areas that I don't want to hit. But if I use it this way, the force will hit both more precisely and more forcefully in a smaller area. Okay, and why is that important? It's important because I'm knapping it opportunistically, right? So I'm not isolating the platform. If you isolate the platform, it makes it easier for this type of strike with a larger surface area on the tool because it's isolated, right? It's hard to miss. But I don't nap that way because I don't want to remove too much of the edge when I'm isolating, right? Isolation of platforms requires you to remove substantial portions of the edge to create the platform. I don't want to do it that way. So the alternative is to use the same mass tool with a more pointed tip so that you can get in and hit opportunistic areas. Okay. Or hit areas more opportunistically. Either way. I need to clean off this mass here. It's got a lot of crystal pockets in it. I'm not sure. I'm hoping to preserve a lot of this surface up here. We'll see. Would it be better if I abrade? Yeah, sometimes it is better. But this is kind of soft, right? So it crushes a little bit, which is kind of like abrading. When I hit, it'll crush a little bit, and this slides a little bit along the edge, so it doesn't really matter too much if I abrade ahead of time, since the crushing will kind of simulate the abrading, and it won't smash through like a harder material like aluminum. Aluminum will smash more of the edge, but like I said, any tool can be used effectively with skill, so it doesn't really matter. If you smash a lot of it with aluminum, you can get adjusted to creating a better platform so it doesn't smash as much. And since this doesn't smash as much, you can leave a little bit more of the platform sharp or jagged or whatever. It's just an adjustment. Okay. Okay, I'll continue on the next segment.